Don't get me wrong, I love the RV lifestyle. I love the travel that we do, all the cool places we get to see and the people we get to visit. But if you spend enough time traveling in an RV, you will soon discover decision fatigue. Where are we going next? How are we going to get there? Where are we going to stay when we are there? Well, we're generally going to stay in the Airstream or the van, but where are we going to park those when we are trying to stay somewhere? Technology has helped a lot because there are now so many apps and websites that will allow you to find things, keep track of things, know where you're going and how you're going to get there. There are dozens of them in the RV lifestyle space right now, but we are going to talk about the ones that I go back to time and again because they just work. Because we are members of Harvest Hosts, one of the first apps I pull up is the Harvest Host app or the website, which are very similar. They work very much the same way and is one of the nice things about Harvest Hosts. But you can find farms, breweries, wineries, churches, museums. There's all kinds of things that are part of Harvest Hosts now. And they also recently purchased Boondockers Welcome. So if you're familiar with that service where you could stay in people's driveways because they would host you, that is now included on this map as well. And what I did here is I punched in the route. So that has a route planning feature, which is also very nice. You can either zoom in on a very specific area and see what's in an area, or you can plan an entire route. So let's say you want to go from what I have punched in here is Okemos, Michigan, which is where our home base is, all the way to Capitol Reef National Park in Utah. That is one of my favorite national parks. And so that's what I have put on the map here. And the filters on this system are very nice. Again, available on the web or on the app. We generally try not to go too far from the route, but we do go off the beaten path a little bit. It's how you find some really great spots. But you can change the radius here. You can go up here and you can actually put in specific dates that you're traveling, and that will filter out places that are already booked or aren't available. You can change the host type. So maybe you want to see farms, attractions, wineries. You're okay with breweries and distilleries. You're okay camping in somebody's driveway if you just need an overnight. That's something you can do. If you're an Airstream Club member, that's now included on the map here for Harvest Hosts as well. So that's a nice little bonus for that. But you can see here, it shows there's 171 hosts en route from Okemos all the way to Capitol Reef National Park. This is going to show you everything. It looks really cluttered, but if you zoom in, you can get an idea of what is available. So if you're here in the Omaha area as you're coming through, you can click on, there's an orchard and vineyard that's available. There's a brewery in town. There's all kinds of places you can stay, and you can zoom in and out, see all the different places that are available. And if you click on them, they'll open up in another tab, which is also very nice because it doesn't lose your original search and your original map. And then this will give you somebody's idea of, okay, this is what their driveway looks like. This is how big the rig is that will fit there, that kind of thing. Give you all kinds of information. If I close that tab and I go back to the main search, I just close that. There's all kinds of things you can find on here, including they also recently started adding dump stations. So if you need that along the way, that's available as well. You can turn things on and off. You can turn the dump stations off if that helps to clean up the map for you. You can go to a satellite view or the street view, which is what I have now. And it's just been a really handy way to get a quick overview of places that you can stay. You can change whether or not they have hookups. You can turn on and off same-day booking. Many times, the hosts want to have more than 24 hours notice. Sometimes it's a couple of days. It just depends on how they're set up to handle things. And you might need to find something quickly for an overnight while you are traveling. We often do. So I'll just turn on same-day booking, and then I know that what I'm seeing on the map are only things that are going to accept same-day bookings, and I don't have to look at each one and say, oh, that's nice, but they won't be available tonight because we don't have enough notice to give them. There's lots of different filters you can use. It's been really, really handy. You can filter things out based on whether they need slide outs or not, or whether you have slide outs, if they allow pets, that kind of thing. It's a fantastic system. Another great feature is that once you figured out where you're going to stay and you have it booked, all of that is kept track of for you within the app and on the website. So you can go up here to stays and you can look at my stays, and I don't have anything booked right now, But if you look at what we've done in the past, these are all the places that we have stayed, and you can get more information about where you've been. It keeps a record of it for you. Messaging the host and them messaging you is all handled through this. You can also set it up so that whatever comes in on the app also comes in through a text message. So that's handy if you're in an area with a little bit less data and the app may not be able to pull that message right away, but the text message probably will come through. That's a really nice feature to be able to just have all of this in one location and not have to worry about keeping track of it elsewhere. The next app I tend to reach for when trying to figure out where we're going to stay overnight somewhere is the Dyrt. Again, I love that the phone app and the website are very similar. I'm showing you the website here. And what's useful about this is it's more campground focused. So maybe we didn't find a harvest host that's available, or we want to stay in a particular area for a few days. That's going to be more of a campground type setting, or maybe BLM land. And you can find that on the Dyrt. So let's say, again, let's go to Capitol Reef National Park in Utah. And I don't know, let's go for the first week in August. It's a little warm, but I like heat. So here you go. The Dyrt is going to pull up the map. Here you can see this pin. That's the center of Capitol Reef National Park there. And they're going to show you all the different things that are available in this area. So you've got dispersed camping. You've got all kinds of established campgrounds. There's the Fruita campground is one of the official ones here in Capitol Reef National Park. Again, if you click on it, what I really like about this developer is they made it so that when you click on a campground, it opens in a new tab. You don't lose your original map and your original search. But when you go into the campground, there's going to be pictures that people have posted. They have alerts if there's anything going on with things like road closures, water problems, that kind of thing. There's always a description here from the Dyrt, and then you can get down further in. They talk about, what kind of access you have, the type of sites they have. If there is information provided by visitors on the phone service, that's also really handy. Features that are available, that kind of thing. If you keep going down, there's going to be reviews from people. Places that they've reviewed are going to be on here. The photos that they've included. Some people will post videos. It's super handy. If this one isn't really for you, once you look at it, you can either go back to the main map or you'll see popular camping nearby. Over here on the right is going to be other camping areas near where you have been looking. So that's a real quick, easy reference, and you can just start clicking through those and see if another one is more to your liking. Close that tab, you go back to the original one, and you just click on the map here. That makes that go. One of the things I like about this is you can either move the map around and just look at an area, or if you have this turned on as you move the map, it will search for you and continue to add camping locations. Depending on your web service, it could be a little bit slower because you're constantly searching and loading the new map, but I have found it to be pretty helpful to be able to do that. One of the things that this does that a lot of things don't is the dispersed camping, and I really like that because you can find BLM land. You can, if you are a pro member, now you can get the Dyrt for free. We happen to be pro members because over time I used it enough that I realized that I'm going to want to invest in this so they can keep going. And also it does offer some nice features if you go to the pro level. So that includes free camping. So you can turn on first come, first serve. You can tell it the type of sites that you're looking for. You can filter it down by whether they're cell service or not, all kinds of features, that kind of thing. So that's been pretty handy to be able to have that as well. One of the advantages of being a pro member is that you can also do a route planner on the Dyrt. So you can tell it whether you want to start with a recommended trip or they'll fill in some blanks for you, or you can just add campgrounds along the way as you find them. And maybe you want to do one way or round trip, that kind of thing. So let's do this again. Let's go to Okemos, Michigan as a start. And we're going to go to Capitol Reef National Park. And he stops playing along the way. Nope, unless you're going to show me the campground I need to be at. So then you're going to say things like, how much do you want to drive each day? So let's say I don't want to drive more than, I don't know, let's say no more than 4 hours a day. Okay, we're going to stay at places that are less than $50. RV or motorhome, I get about 12 miles per gallon on the van when we're towing. You can tell it whether you want to use highways or not. I always avoid toll roads if at all possible. Let's avoid the highways too, because that's the better way to travel. Okay, I'm going to name the trip. It's going to build it. What it's going to do now is it's going to look across the entire country, going from Okemos to Capitol Reef National Park. It's going to find you campgrounds, BLM land, anything that's within the Dyrt's system. And it's going to find you places that are within whatever parameters you gave it. So I said I didn't want to drive more than 4 hours a day. Okay, well, we're going to leave Okemos, and our first stop's going to be in Indiana at Indiana Dunes National Park. You'll see over here on the left, I can just scroll through them. There's all these different campgrounds, state parks, places that you can stay at. And as you move, they're going to bounce around here. But I can also click them here on the map, and it will take me to each of those locations. So you can see where they have you plotted out along the way. So that means you can go all the way from Michigan to Utah. These are the places at about a 4-hour drive per day, and it's give or take a little bit. And these are the recommended campgrounds that they're going to give you. And you can always change each individual campground. You can set filters so that only certain types of campgrounds show up, only ones that are rated with a certain number of stars. Maybe you need certain amenities. Those can all be filtered on or off, and it's a great way to get a quick overview of a route and where there are options for you to stay along the way. Whether you're traveling to an area or you're going to be in an area for a while, weather is incredibly important to keep track of, particularly at certain times of year when there can be severe weather. Lots of weather apps out there, but I have settled on MyRadar, and that is an app that I have found also with a web version, and it's got a PC version. Very handy to have available on different size screens. What I like about it is the weather forecast has tended to be very accurate. You can get very specific information from it, but you can get a quick overview here of what's going on with the weather in terms of, is there any storms? You look over here to the East Coast, kind of got New England over here, and they're starting to have a lot of storms. There's stuff going on in Canada, that kind of thing. I'm just pointing that out because that's where the radar is showing the trouble. You've got weather alerts here that can give you information on what's going on. There's a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, so that's something that's very handy to have. It'll show you where the fronts are at. You can turn on a layer that gives you information on wildfires, which has been very handy from time to time. If you turn on the layer, another nice feature is you can find out about power outages in an area. So Lima, Ohio apparently is having a power outage right now. It tells you what's going on, who's affected, how many affected, that kind of thing. And that's super handy to have at times when you are traveling as well. I moved up here to the top left so I could get out of the way of the forecast that this can give you. And that's one of the things I like about this MyRadar app is the forecast is very good. It gives you a quick overview of the temperature and the sunlight, cloudiness, that kind of thing, whether it's going to rain or not. You get an hourly forecast. As you scroll down here, you get the 10-day forecast. That's also been super handy to have. But here's what I really like. You get a quick overview of temperature and that kind of thing, and maybe some rain precipitation chances when you are looking at the 10-day view. But you see this row right here. You've got temperature, you've got precipitation. So this is going to show you specifically that apparently it's going to be pretty dry here in northern Michigan. A couple chances for thunderstorms, but nothing real high. You can check wind speeds that are going to be happening over the next few days. And one I really like because we use solar a lot is the cloud cover. And so this is going to tell me that today, at its cloudiest, we're going to be at 64% cloud cover. At its clearest, we're going to be pretty much zero. And that's what I really like about this is it shows you the time of day. It shows you when it's going to be cloudy, when it's not going to be cloudy. It's been super handy to have that. Again, I have found it to be very accurate and it's very quick. And it's just something that has been very helpful to have when we are traveling or even when we are sitting in an area for a while. You got to keep an eye on that weather. And I think MyRadar weather app is the one to go with. The last app I want to mention is one that most people are probably familiar with, and that is Google Maps. We do not use Google Maps when we are towing the Airstream. I don't trust it to know enough about my rig to give me the right directions for the safest places to be. So I use a dedicated RV GPS that I can punch in that information. It knows the height, the weight, the length, everything, and it determines the best route for me based on that. But we still use Google Maps a lot when we are looking ahead to a location. For example, this is Mustang Island State Park, where we were recently park hosts for a few months. But what we will do is a lot of times I'll be looking to park host somewhere and I will say, okay, where's the location? How do we get to it? How do we get from it? What's in the area in terms of bigger towns, that kind of thing. But what I like about this, and I don't think a lot of people really do this like they should, is you can change the layers and you can go to satellite layer. And when you go to satellite layer on Google Maps, you can then zoom right on in there and you can see how the park is laid out. So when you zoom in, you can see, oh, here's the campground, here's the beach, here's the access roads, here's how the campground is laid out. And that's super handy to have. A lot of times we'll use this when we're in the need of gas. And I'll tell Jesse, I'm like, hey, here's a couple gas stations coming up I want to look at because maybe I have a discount at them. So there's very specific ones I want to go to. She'll jump on Google Maps, turn on the satellite mode on her phone, and then she can see what that specifically looks like in terms of how are the pumps laid out. How is the access laid out in terms of the roads, the driveways getting in and out? How tight is it going to be? Are we going to fit easily? I love that feature on Google Maps, and I just wanted to bring it up because I don't think everybody uses it as much as they probably should, and maybe not at all. And if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do it because it can be very, very handy. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions about the apps that I talked about, go ahead and post them in the comments below, and I will do my best to help you out with those. In the meantime, keep on trekking, and we'll see you out there.